What's up, nerds? We are your hosts. I am Chad.
I'm Jake. This week we are sponsored by Cry Baby Craig's.
We are also sponsored by Raised Energy Drinks. This week we are talking about Shang-Chi.
And then later in the episode, we are also joined by Ken Knudtsen, a comic book writer, illustrator, who is promoting his new Kickstarter for his hilariously dark and witty My Monkey's Name is Jennifer.
So yeah, let's get into it. Let's just dive right into it. This is the All Things Nerd podcast.
Nerd. Welcome back, everyone, to the All Things Nerd podcast, your weekly dive into all things nerd. Wow. Wow, Jake. Wow. Speaking of Jake, how was your week?
My week's been good. Crazy busy at work. But we interviewed Ken, and I thought that was a lot of fun. Other than that, it's been pretty chill.
Yeah.
I got my butt kicked in bowling by my girlfriend. 3 games in a row. She killed it.
Well, based on the scores you sent me, you held your own for the first game.
First 2, I did okay.
Yeah, she started to definitely pull ahead in the second game, and then the third game, she just wiped the floor with you. No offense.
Oh, no, none taken. I actually thought it was pretty hot. She takes it so seriously.
So hot right now.
There's like those little dots on the floor, and she like lines herself up with the dots and does like a little slide of her foot, does the whole, and then she even made me better, like, because she was like, I just kept fucking chucking the ball at the ground, and I'm like, knock some shit down, and she's like, hey dude, when you fucking, she didn't say dude, but she's like,
hey babe,
hey guy, hey boyfriend, she's like, come follow through all the way up. And I did it, and this is gonna sound pathetic to a lot of people who actually bowl, but I bowled after she told me that 112, which is my personal best. So yeah.
No, that's awesome though.
She killed me. Yeah. How about you? How was your week and weekend? Weekend, Labor Day weekend. How was your Labor Day weekend?
It was good. I mean, yeah, we interviewed Ken, and you guys will get a chance to hear that later in this episode. I woke up on Saturday, could not taste anything, and was short of breath. So I was a little freaked about, the COVID. Went and got that checked out, came back negative. So then I was able to go and get my vaccine, which is pretty rad. Other than that, yeah, it's been a really chill week. I've just been hanging out at home, not doing much, hanging out with the dog. Between you and Ken, you guys finally broke me down to start watching Smallville.
Fuck Allison Mack.
Yeah.
Other than that, the show's really good.
Oh, if there's one actress that I hate more than Amber Heard, it's her.
Yeah. They could probably just go scissor each other into hell. For all I care.
Wow, that got graphic but accurate. Yeah, but other than that, the show's been really enjoyable so far. I got through the first season because I had nothing to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, it's been a lot of fun.
If you decide to ever take up Smallville, watching it, you guys got to power through the first season. The first season's like, it's okay, but it gets way better after that. Just stick with it.
I'm going to. I'm going to. Other than that, I mean, anything of noteworthy to talk about before we get into this? Other than, I mean, we do need to talk about the live stream.
I was gonna say probably our live stream coming up on the 22nd.
Yeah, the 22nd. Yeah,
the 22nd.
Wow.
I don't have a fucking calendar in front of me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, September 22nd will be our next live stream. We're still figuring out exactly what we're going to do, but we have upped the ante for giveaways from our sponsor, Crybaby Craig's.
Mm-hmm.
They've agreed to, instead of just like a bottle at a time, we're going to start giving away a little bit more than that. Yeah, you get a sample pack, which is going to be so fucking rad.
Yeah. We should probably look into getting flowed a couple of those sample packs for ourselves.
Right.
But yeah, so you guys are going to get 3 bottles of hot sauce. And we're also, obviously, now we have the new web store up, which is going to be like way better shit than what we were previously giving. Not that our shirts that we were giving were bad, but now there's just way more inventory to choose from.
There's more variety.
So we're going to be giving away a ton of cool shit. Our sponsor is going to be giving you guys a bunch of tool shit.
Yeah,
cool
tool shit.
Jesus Christ. It's going to be fun. I'm excited about it. Please tune in. Yeah. But other than that.
Yeah. So, Jake, before we get into talking about Shang-Chi, introduce our first sponsor.
Yeah. So our first sponsor is Crybaby Craig's Hot Sauce. It's a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce. It goes on practically anything. Listen up, and we will tell you a little more about it.
Hey, you nerds. Do you love spice? Supporting small businesses? What about enhancing the flavor of your favorite foods? If you said yes to any of those, our good friends over at Crybaby Craig's have the perfect solution for you. Crybaby Craig's is a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes perfectly with your favorite foods, adding the perfect amount of spice and enhancing the flavor of everything it touches. Started in Minneapolis by Craig back in 2012, Crybaby Craig's has become a Minneapolis and Minnesota staple in the sauce world. So head over to crybabycraigs.com and order yours today.
All right, guys. So we are going to dive into... Oh, first of all, giant spoiler alert. If you have not seen this movie, stop listening. But we're going to dive into Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. Yeah. Like SHAWN-Chi.
Okay.
No? Yeah.
I think it's SHANG.
That's Shang.
S? C-A? Oh, I did put a C in there. Wow. Wow.
This is kind of a bit...
We'll get into it
later. But anyways, we're going to get into Shang-Chi. I put a G on it that time. Shang-Chi. If you haven't seen it, tune out, go watch it, come back, listen. Fantastic movie. But that's what we're diving into right now. So, Chad, initial reaction.
I loved this movie.
So good.
It's amazing.
I immediately, after I walked out of the theater, well, other than wanting to beat up everybody around me, I
with Kung Fu.
I was like, man, I could just start head kicking everybody right now. Because I was like single filing like out of the movie theater in that like tight hallway, that you go to the exit. And it was like, everybody's going to fucking die.
By my foot.
Yeah, by my foot. Not like a terrorist thing. But
wow, that got dark. Okay.
Well, I said everyone's going to die, and then I was like, people might get that weird. But, yeah, no, I got back here with Nicole, and I was like pretend kicking her in the head. Like, she's
karate
like,
chops.
She's like, well, what should we do for the rest of the day? And I was like, I don't know. Good. I was like pretending to knee her in the head. The movie is so fucking good, guys. Go watch it, and then come back if you haven't seen it.
And if you have seen it, go watch it again. Cause,
I'm gonna.
Honestly,
I'm absolutely going to.
I loved this movie.
Yeah.
It's just so
I had negative things. Like, while the thing is, like, being on this podcast and talking with Chad daily, realistically.
Yeah.
We shit on movies left and right. And there were moments of this movie where I'm like, oh, they fucked up. I'm going to shit on this. And then later on in the movie, they corrected it. And I was like, all right, I guess never mind. I'm not going to shit on that.
It's like they knew.
Yeah.
We're famous.
It's so good. It's so
We've
good.
now influenced movie writing. That's how important we are. It's not.
It's super
This
good.
movie is just phenomenal. With that being said, though, like there's so much. First off, the character that is Shang-Chi's father, the real Mandarin. They even kind of like talk about it, about how like they just gave him a name after like a chicken dish.
Yeah.
But the previews make it seem like he's this big old badass. But like the movie kind of plays out to where he's kind of a wiener. He's just kind of like heartbroken and just like now he's on a tirade basically just to like get back his dead wife.
Yeah.
It worked. It worked for the story. Don't get me wrong. It worked for the story, but
he was kind of a badass, though.
He
like
was
when he gets
like,
revenge and goes into that club.
Yeah, like they show him being a badass.
Yeah,
and
he
like
fucks shit up.
The flashbacks, like he's definitely like just like a maniacal monster that's just like ready to fuck shit up. But the modern day character arc of him is he's kind of a wiener, and he's a sad boy because his wife is dead.
Yeah,
and it worked for the story, but I was really hoping just to get like the devious like Mandarin that's just like there to create chaos.
But at the same time, for argument's sake, he was willing to kill his own kids
for
what he wanted. So he was kind of maniacal in that way.
Yeah,
for sure.
He was. He just wasn't as big of a villain for the modern timeline.
Yeah.
In flashbacks, the dude was terrifying. Just didn't care, willing to kill anybody. And then it just kind of, he got like, almost like tunnel vision.
Well, until he meets their mom, and then he kind of...
Yeah, and then he like, puts away the rings, which then
puts on one more ring, the cock ring.
The diamond crusted cock ring.
Yeah. Yeah.
For marriage. Is that marriage?
You know, that's really funny that you said that. And I thought, I paused because I thought you were going to go there. But this is off topic. We didn't write this down.
Is this about the Graham Norton interview with Elton John?
Yes, about Eminem.
Yes,
is that where you were going, dude?
I watched that today. That's why I made that reference.
I watched you like 2 days ago. That's so fucking funny. I love that. I love you. That's amazing.
Oh, that's so great.
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, back in the day when Eminem was being accused of being homophobic and blah, blah, blah because of his lyrics in his songs, Elton John decided to do the VMAs with Eminem to show that he's not homophobic. And
Elton John is also his sponsor for sobriety.
Yeah. So Eminem sent Elton John as a thank you
as a wedding gift. It was a wedding gift for him and his husband. Yeah.
Yeah. Diamond encrusted cock rings on a red velvet pillow. That's amazing.
This is hilarious.
And when you said that, I had no idea that that's what you were talking about.
I watched that earlier today.
My head went to that, and I was like, does he know?
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
Oh, man.
Anyways, back to Shang-Chi.
So, the entire premise is Shang-Chi's mother is from Ta Lao, which is some mystical village that's in between Earth and like the other dimensions. Sounds like the entire background of this sounds very much like Kunlun from the Iron Fist stories.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, they're retconning this. And I was like really upset because even in the trailer, we see it turns out to be Shang-Chi's mother, but she's fighting his father, Wenwu, or the Mandarin, the real Mandarin. And she's wearing green and gold, which is like the Iron Fist like colors.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God, we're going to be introduced. This is going to be great. Nothing about that. And I was like, wow, they're just closing the door on Iron Fist. Like, this is super disappointing. But then they explain it. This is one of those things where we were like, oh, fuck. Like, this is something I want to shit on. And then they explain it later. And Kunlun is just like one village in this like
Vast
sub-dimensional realm in between Earth's realm and beyond. And just like Ta Lao, which is where Shang-Chi's mother's from, stuff like that. And I was super mad until they like explained it the way that they explained it. It can go either way. You know, they can introduce Iron Fist, or they can just close the door on it without being disrespectful about it. So I'm okay with it, but
and for
it was
me,
cool.
My similar for those of you who watch or listen to this, there's always something that we're like, this is a good movie, but fucking this is what they did, and I didn't like it. Early on in the movie, well, not early on, it was like midway through the movie. Spoiler alert again, real quick. But Shang basically realizes that once they go to Ta Lao, that his mom is the only person who is now dead that was ever able to beat his dad in a fight. And he asked his aunt to show him how it happened, or like to teach him how to do it. And I was super annoyed because I was like, oh God, like he learned how to fight this like ancient like fighting style in like 10 minutes of a movie. That's fucking stupid. And then when he's like in the end of the movie, when he's actually fighting his dad, they do like a quick cut, because there's like a part where in the earlier when his dad is fighting his mom, they do this like it's almost like a dance. It's not even a fight. Like she's just like reversing everything he's doing, and they're kind of dancing rather than fighting. And Shang and his dad in the end start doing the same thing, and then they do like a quick cut scene to Shang as a kid, and his mom is showing him these like moves. So he knew how to do this like fighting style all along, but he didn't know that he knew how to do it until he actually fought his dad, which was, I thought, was brilliant, because it was something I wanted to be like, this is fucking dumb. I'm going to shit on this in the podcast. And then like a half an hour later, I was like, holy fuck, this was a brilliant way to completely like wipe that out. Yeah,
and,
they did it.
And explain it that it wasn't just like a 10-minute like Tai Chi lesson, because it's very Tai Chi like or Wushu, where it's very like almost like a water movement, like it's very flowy.
He's like, show me how to do this, and his aunt is like, oh, you do this, and then she kicks his ass, and he's like, fuck, and then he ends up kicking his dad's ass with that same fighting style, and I'm like, the fuck? I was like, this is dumb. He learned for like 5 seconds, and then they do a flashback and show that his mom had actually been teaching him how to fight like that since he was a little kid, but he just had no idea that that's what she was doing.
Yeah.
I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, it was a great way to do it, because she taught him as such a young child that it became like muscle memory. So like when the time came, like it was natural.
Yeah. This movie is so fucking good.
It is
zero notes. Zero notes. I have nothing bad to say about this movie.
It is
nothing.
It's foolproof. It's sealed. I mean, other than Wenwu or the Mandarin, kind of being a little bit of a bitch, but it worked for the story. So like, I'm not even mad about that. I just wanted more barbarian out of him, but it works so well.
And I personally, I'm not a fan of Aquafina. I'm not a fan of her. I think I don't like hate her or anything. I just think that she's super over the top in everything she does. She like overdoes it. She is kind of obnoxious. And in this movie, she's herself, which is fine, but it's not over the top. It's not super annoying. She was actually very funny. And some people might not like that I said that because I realize she's a very liked person. But I just think my personal opinion is she's very like too much.
Yeah.
You know?
But they made that a part of the character and then also showed so much like growth through it.
Yeah. Yes.
That I really appreciated. Like at first she was just kind of like, you know, the younger kid who doesn't give a fuck and just wants to like party and do whatever.
Yeah.
But throughout the movie,
yeah, it was great.
Like this was.
She did great, and I am fine with it. That was where I was going with it. I'm sorry, Aquafina, because you're definitely a listener of our podcast.
Yeah, well, we're famous. They chose to write a better movie because of us. Clearly, it didn't happen that way.
No, she did an awesome job in this. So if you're like me and you don't like her, it's okay. She's great.
Yeah, and we also get some dragons in this, which was really cool. We'll get more into the dragon of the darkness, the destroyer of darkness, or the bringer of darkness. I don't remember exactly what they call him. We'll get into it more next week because it ties into another Marvel project, at least in our theories.
In theory, yeah.
We could be wrong, and that's fine. But we'll dive into it a little bit more. But it's basically a soul-sucking demon that looks like a dragon. Oh. Sorry, Mom.
We also get a bunch of badass cameos in here. One of them, for me, that was cool was in some part in the movie, the first half of the movie, Shang goes looking for his sister, and he goes to basically like an underground fight club, unbeknownst to him. And there's people like fighting in these like glass cages all around him. And there is somebody in one of the cages that is infected with Extremis from Iron Man 3. I thought that was pretty cool, just as a little tie-in to, you know.
Yeah.
But who else do we see?
We also see Wong. You know, like the Wong, like Beyonce Wong from Doctor Strange and Infinity War and Endgame. But also he's fighting Emil Blonsky, which is the Abomination. The Abomination does look different in this film.
Yeah.
Take it for what you will.
But it's, I think, well, so it's, they have explained it in an interview that he does look different, obviously, but it's because he is, since The Incredible Hulk with Ed Norton, because those movies are canon, goddammit, or that movie was canon, Abomination only had just begun. When he became Abomination in that movie, it was within 30 minutes of exposing himself to the radiation. So this is like years later, he has continued to evolve.
Yeah.
So that's why he looks different. But it's the same character.
It is the same character, it is the same voice. Also, it's still Tim Roth.
Yeah.
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
We also get some jokes, especially from Aquafina, about Shang-Chi. His alias is Sean. Which is why Jake introduced it as Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
They're on the plane to go find Shang-Chi's sister. And he's like, my real name is Shang-Chi. And she's like, yeah, Shang-Chi. He's like, no, Shang-Chi. She's like, Shang-Chi. It's like, no, S-H-A-N-G. Chi. And she's like, you changed your name from Shang to Sean? No wonder your dad found you.
Yeah. She's like, and she goes, that's like saying, hi, my name is Gina. I'm going into hiding, and my new name is going to be Gina. No wonder your dad found you.
Like, just straight hilarious.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good line.
And his only retort to his, "I was 16."
Yeah.
But, like, this movie is just great. There's so much in it. It's so much fun.
Ben. Gotta bring up Ben.
Oh, yeah. We do get Ben Kingsley back.
If you don't remember who Ben Kingsley is by name, Ben Kingsley played the
Trevor Slattery.
The actor who played the Mandarin in Iron Man 3. We see him again, and it's a fucking riot, dude. He's so fucking funny.
Which is great, because Ben Kingsley is usually... he's a classically trained
actor.
Very serious, and he normally does play a very devious bad guy.
Yeah.
Which made Iron Man 3 for a twist, because like you're like, oh, it's Ben Kingsley, he's the bad guy. And then you're like, what?
Yeah. But so when you first meet him, he's like, you hear like all these weird noises, and it's like him like doing his like voice warm-ups, which you find out later. But they're like in a prison, and you hear like, whoa, and they're like, oh god, what is that noise? You go in there, it's Trevor, and they're like, who are you? And he's like, I'm Trevor.
Trevor Slattery.
Yeah. And
I'm an
then
actor.
all of a sudden, this like weird little creature, it looks like a fucking pillow with wings on it, comes
You're
out.
like a pillow pet.
Yeah,
but like with wings.
Like, and Shang and Awkwafina's character, I forget her name in the movie.
Katie,
are like, what the hell is that? And he goes, you can see it too. And he's like, oh my god, I thought I've been hallucinating all these years. It's super funny. He was a great addition to this movie. I thought it was.
I think he was
fucking amazing.
Like, for as funny as the interaction between Shang and Katie was, he was the comic relief. He was the comic relief.
Yeah.
Like, he just goes on like rants, like talking about like how important like acting was. He even goes on like a rant about Planet of the Apes. Because
he thinks the apes are real.
Still to this day. Like the 1970s version.
That's what made him like want to be an actor, was
because he approached his mom and was like, how did they get those monkeys to ride the horses? And she's like, oh, honey, they're acting.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, so they weren't even riding the horses. They were just acting and pretending to ride the horse. Like, doesn't get that the monkeys in Planet of the Apes weren't real.
Yeah. He's an idiot.
Oh, but it's hilarious.
Very funny. What was the other part? The playing dead part.
Playing dead. So during like the final battle, you see, so the little winged pillow pet is named Morris. Maurice. That'd be funnier, but Morris. He like runs up and sees Ben Kingsley's character like laying on the ground like limp, and he like starts to whimper at him, and Ben Kingsley's like, I'm just acting, love. Like, lay down, pretend. Like, this is all an act.
He's like, this is a performance. He's like, lay down here with me so he can survive. And then Morris just like flips over on his back and is like, pretends to be dead. That's super
it's
funny.
Just hilarious.
A couple other notable mentions for this movie. Again, spoiler alert. We get to see at one of the end credit scenes.
We do get two end credit scenes with this movie.
Two end credit scenes. One of them is we see Captain Marvel and Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner is Bruce Banner, not the Hulk. We see Mark fucking lame ass
Ruffalo
as Bruce Banner. Oh, sorry, was that his name? I thought it was. We see Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner again. So somehow, we don't know how yet, he has, because last time we saw him was in Endgame, and he had fused the Hulk to Banner and become Professor Hulk. But now in this movie, which is after Endgame, he is now Banner again. And he's wearing an arm sling because obviously his arm got fucked up when he did the snap in Endgame. But he is Bruce Banner again, so we do not know what the fuck is going on there.
There's a handful of theories out there. We're pretty sure that it's going to be explained with the She-Hulk series.
Yeah, that'd be my assumption.
Yeah, there's a few that I don't really want to get into right now.
He's also been
we'll dive
seen on
into it.
He's also been seen on the set of the Moon Knight series that's filming right now. So we'll
Ooh.
see him in there too.
Yeah, so as we start to see more of Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner, we'll start diving into more of those theories as to why. Pick it up. Keep going. It's fine. Oh, you just spilled all that. Oh, this is not going to be good. So we're going to flash through that, but there's an end credit scene with that ends hilariously. There's also an end credit scene showing Shang-Chi's sister basically recreating the 10 rings after their father's death and taking it over, and then it ends and says the 10 rings will return. So yeah. So with that being said, we are going to hop into our next sponsor. Didn't mean to take this from you. It's just that Jake dropped his drink.
I dumped my entire drink in my nutsack. It's cold as fuck.
It doesn't feel that cold.
That's
Sorry.
not my nutsack.
If you aren't watching, oh yeah, this one's white. I feel bad for saying that. But so we're gonna hop into our second sponsor when we come back, guys. Though
I'll be in different clothes when I come back, but
samesies. Yeah. But we'll also be diving into our interview with Ken, talking about his Kickstarter and getting to talk with him. He's a lot of fun, so please stick around. Sponsor for this is Ray's Energy Drinks. Fantastic energy drink. Bunch of protein options out there. Listen up. Learn how to save 15%.
What's up, nerds? I wanted to take a minute and talk to you about Ray's Energy, an incredible energy drink that provides max energy with zero crash. Ray's Energy takes a giant leap of faith with instilling a high-quality formula to bring a powerful, yet sustained, energetic experience to help you push your workouts and focus to the next level. Perfect for anyone at any time, empowered by their Refresh formula technology, Ray's Energy delivers a performance-enhancing energy drink that aids in multiple different categories that include targeted focus, better recovery time, improved clean energy levels, and a boost in stamina and hydration. But most importantly, every can of Ray's Energy has absolutely 0 calories, 0 sugar, and 0 carbohydrates to give you a smarter and healthier option. So don't settle for an energy drink that contains more sugar and carbohydrates than you can count. Instead, head over to repsports.com. That's REPPSPORTS.com and use the promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout for 15% off your order. Or if you don't know what you want, go ahead and click the link that's in the description to get a $50 sample pack for free. All you do is you cover the cost of shipping. Again, make sure you use promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout to let them know that we sent you.
All right, guys, so this week we're lucky to sit down with Ken Knudtsen. He's a comic book writer and artist. Ken, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you inviting me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, we're excited to have you here. This is our second interview so far, but this is gonna be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ken, tell us a little bit about yourself and your Kickstarter to just get things going here.
Okay. Hey, everybody. My name is Ken Knudtsen. I'm from New York, and I moved down to Charlotte, North Carolina in 2017. I've been drawing since as young as I can remember and reading comics just as long. I love them. I'm a graduate of School of Visual Arts in New York City, where I was fortunate enough to have instructors like Klaus Janson, Walt Simonson, John Ruggieri, Jack Potter, Joe Orlando. And I am super psyched that I have a Kickstarter on September 13th for a collection of my comic book. My monkey's name is Jennifer.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Walt Simonson was the one that did one of those variant covers, correct?
Yes. Walt did one of the covers, and Klaus inked 2 covers for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he had to do it twice because the pencil lead I used was a little too smooth, and when he went to erase the stray lines, the ink came off too. And he's like, I'd be happy to ink this again if you redraw it again with different pens. I'm like, I understand, and yes, I will.
Before we get super deep into this, I do want to ask you, just because this is what we do on our podcast, is we drink and shoot the shit. What are you drinking, and what is your drink of choice?
Before I moved down here, I was a heavy vodka drinker. I didn't start drinking until I was 20. And at work one day, someone's like, we should drink at work. And I'm like, I guess I'll just drink vodka. Why not? But towards the end, Jerry Ma, who was, I think, your first guest, he got me into whiskey. So right now I'm drinking some Old Foresters.
Okay.
Out of my my monkey's name is Jennifer shot glass.
That's awesome.
Hold that up a little. I couldn't see it. Could you? Shit. I don't know if that's
the green screen. But, there
it goes. There it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's an angry monkey on it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's so cool. So you've been writing and illustrating these stories of, my monkey's name is Jennifer for 20 years now. Where did the inspiration for this character and for the series come from?
Just after graduating college, I was hanging out with Jerry and a couple of our other friends, and we decided, we're going to try and do our own comics. For them, they already had ideas ready to go. I had nothing. So when I schlepped back to Long Island on the train, I was very sad and depressed because Long Island sucks. And I sat down. And The Simpsons was on, and it happened to be the best episode ever, the one with Mojo, the helper monkey. So after that, I'm like, I'll draw a comic about a monkey. And then I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I thought, I'll make him angry monkey. And what would make him angry? So for me, my writing style is clearly secondary to my drawing. So when I write, it's what do I want to draw? So a monkey sounds cool. And they go on a pirate ship. That sounds cool. I'll make them speak in rhyme. That's something I don't want to do again because that was way harder than I thought it was going to be.
I read that. I thought that was cool. So, when I was reading about you and your graphic novel coming up and your stories that you've written so far, I love the fact that Jennifer is actually a male monkey, named and dressed up as a female in dresses, right, by Caitlin, who's a teenager.
Preteen, yeah.
Preteen, okay. And I was curious, where did that, in the story it says that Jennifer's weakness is Caitlin. He's kind of a brooding, kind of a mad all the time, right? Am I wrong by saying that? So why is Caitlin his weakness?
I never really thought about how it started, like how did the parents let this happen? Yeah. It's kind of like Muppet Babies. You just jump right in and this is the status quo. The monkey is clearly miserable. And the Caitlin's completely oblivious to it most of the time. And the parents well, how are we going to get through this? So they have him neutered, they have him declawed.
No.
They're constantly bopping him on the head. Yeah. Sorry,
so the line so the line where he says if I still had my claws, which is a reoccurring line in that, is because Caitlin's parents had him declawed. Like you would a house cat. Okay, cool. We were laughing about it, in a good way, before we called you guys on here. And we were I was I love this line. And I'm going to ask him about this line because this is hilarious. And that's fantastic. Yeah. So they're treating him like a house cat, basically. Neutered, removed his claws, and they bop him on the head.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
So really, Caitlin's the only one happy with this living situation.
Aww.
Oh. Poor monkey. But also, throughout the, the stories that you already have out there, you come across, or they come across these wild, villains and characters, the singing pirates, the rapping alpacas, is it Dr. Tunic?
Yep.
That wants to just take brain matter out of teenagers and stuff like that. So when coming up with these characters, do you just is it still along those lines of what would be funny to draw or fun to draw and then build the characters around that? Or do you like find someone, or do you like pull inspiration from people that you know where you're like, this guy's like one step away from being a rapping pirate, let's just exaggerate it?
It's actually a fun mix of both, because the pirate and the doctor are both based on two of my best friends. They both were excited when I said I was going to draw comics. Like, oh, everyone's like, can we be in it? And then
Is one of them Jerry?
Jerry is not one of them. No, he's like junior high and high school friends.
Oh, okay.
One of them is a doctor, and his name is Dr. Tunic. None of these names have changed. That's what I'm saying. And what's great is when you tell your friend that they're going to be in the comic, they're excited because they know who I am, and the parents kind of know who I am, and they go to the comic store, they buy it. Like, what is this? Who is your friend?
I love it.
That's amazing. Oh my god.
So I was looking at your like web store and stuff like that, and I saw like a bunch of your like prints and stuff like that. All amazing. I had a couple questions for you. So I saw that you use a lot of different styles of drawing, whether it's looks like charcoal or excuse me, I wrote it down because I didn't know what it was, and I lost my spot on here. God damn it!
The Sumi.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite type of style that you draw with, or do you just kind of do it all over the board?
I mean, I'm fortunate where most of the project I work on, whether it's for myself or a job, I can have a heavy say in what materials I'm going to have to use, unless it's something like has to be specific to whatever the brand is. Okay. I love Sumi ink. That's like the black flack ink. I love using heavy line. I'm not so much like a shader or a crosshatcher. For me, I get a lot of mass from the heavy shadows and how I use color. So I'm getting better at regular watercolor painting, but I don't really care, just because I combine that with oil bars, which is like a messy combination of pastels and oil paint. And whenever I'm done with the piece, I've got art supplies on my face, under my fingernails. Like that will live there for a week.
That's awesome. And then as a follow-up to that question, I did notice that you have drawn a ton of, our whole thing is nerd stuff. And you've drawn a ton of shit for DC, Marvel, Star Wars, John Wick, Godzilla, Bruce Lee. Do you have a favorite that you like to draw for any of those genres, or are you just whatever they ask me to do?
It's nice when you get asked to draw Star Wars. Like I did a ton of Star Wars cards for Topps. I love Keanu Reeves movies. That's why I draw a lot of John Wick stuff. I love superhero. Like I love a little bit of everything. Somebody yesterday mentioned that they asked if I would be interested in doing a James Bond comic because they saw a lot of the stuff, like the noir stuff. And like, I think that would be a perfect fit. I'm like, that would be cool. A perfect fit. You know, Dynamite, I'm right here.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah. I do have a favorite, by the way. I just want to throw this out there just because I was talking about it with Chad before we got into this. But the Superman Blue.
All right. You're my favorite now.
Seriously? Yes. Dude, that thing is the so tits, cool. Man. Yeah.
I love a lot of like I'm not sure how old you guys. I think look like we're in the same age vicinity.
I'm 34. He's like 22 or something like that.
I'm 30. It's the youthfulness.
It is, and the glowing balls. Oh, is this being video filmed or is it just sound?
Yes,
it's video. Yeah, it's video.
Okay, all right. So people will see that. Okay. Now, like I love like the dumb ideas Marvel and DC had in the 90s. Like I love Asbats. I love the visual ridiculousness of this super heavy armored guy with just like tights on his bottom. I love the craziness of Spidey 29 design.
Oh yeah.
I love how ridiculous Electric Blue Super. I can't forget what they really called him, but like Electric Blue Superman. I'm a Debbie Gibson fan too. So like, and they decided the best storyline for him was, what if he splits into Red Electric Superman and there's two of them? And I'm like, this is even better. Yeah. So I'm part of a group with Jerry and some other guys, Bernard Chang, Sean Chen, Andy McDonald, and like everyone else who wants to join in. And the week's prompt was Superman. I'm like, I know exactly who I'm drawing.
Dude.
Like
Oh,
the
yeah.
distant second choice would have been Eradicator Superman from The Death and Return of Superman. Because I love that S shield that goes into the cape and the goggles. But no, it had to be Blue Superman.
Yeah. Yeah, that
That's
thing
awesome.
is insane. Yeah, I love it. So I love all of it, honestly. But that was definitely my favorite. I was looking at it all day today, and all of your prints, I was like going through them because I was like, which one do I want to ask him about? And that was the one that just popped out at me. I was like, this thing is fucking rad. So, yeah.
It's so cool. I am
Thanks, guys.
partial to the Star Wars ones just because I'm a huge Star Wars fan and nerd, and that Boba Fett one, like the standalone. Oh, did you like the
Boba Fett-
Mandalorian? Did you like seeing him suited back up in Mandalorian season 2?
And like, I love the Mandalorian. With one caveat. When he first reveals that he can't take the helmet off, I'm like, that's going to be a storyline problem down the line. And like, they kind of skirted past it, like here and there, like when he was drinking his broth. I guess that's all he's able to eat. Like even with Baby Yoda there, like he's like,
He just lifts it up, and yeah.
Yeah.
So I liked how they started to resolve that, like when they had to break into the Imperial compound with Bill Burr. And he's like, is the rule you can't take this helmet off, or you got to have a helmet on? Like, what's going on here? But yeah, I like the Mandalorian. I loved. I'm blanking on that actor's name who played Django in the prequels. That came back as Boba Fett in the Mandalorian.
Oh my goodness!
Because
I should know.
He's Aquaman's dad in the
Yeah.
Aquaman movie too.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm a huge Aquaman fan, and when I saw him pop up in that early part of the movie, I'm like, oh, Django Fett, like he's your dad, like this is great.
Oh, now I really want to look this up because it's.
What do
gonna
they call him when he showed up in the Mandalorian? Like thick Boba or something like that?
Yeah.
Because he's like, nah, I'm not getting abs for this. This is what I would be like right now.
Yeah.
It's like, and I have a Tusken Raider staff too. Watch out.
Yeah. Raylan Givens is the actor. Yes. Oh, he's so good.
Yeah, so clearly we love Justified, and when they brought him, like yeah, he's wearing the Boba Fett armor, and I'm like, I cannot wait for this.
Yeah.
And the look of surprise on his face every time Mando suggested something, he's like, "What is? Yeah, I guess that's what we'll do to keep people safe. Whatever."
Wait, so the TV show Justified, Raylan Givens is the guy's name from. He's
that's his character
Timothy
name,
Oliphant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, funny. Oh, I never even put that together. That's crazy.
Yeah, neither did I. Forgot he was in that.
Now you enjoy it more.
Yeah.
I love Justified. I thought that was a good show.
So kind of like continuing on with like your prints that are on your website. I noticed that there's some Shang-Chi prints. Are you excited for the movie?
I am. When that prompt came up like about a month ago, I like to do a little research on the characters, so I'm not just drawing like the same thing that's on a cover right now, or like I like to do a little bit of their personality or their history in it. And I read that on the Wikipedia page, I tried to glance over what the movie was because I didn't want to be spoiled on it. But apparently in the late 80s, early 90s, Stan Lee was trying to get Brandon Lee to do this as either a TV show or a standalone movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, whoa. I'm like, I would have loved to see that because
Oh yeah.
love The Crow, love Rapid Fire. Yeah, if they did a movie in the late 80s, early 90s, it would be like the Dolph Lundgren Punisher. It'd be awful.
Still would have been cool. It would have been nostalgic
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that would have been a great triple feature for a day off. Rapid Fire, Brandon Lee as Shang-Chi, and The Crow. Like that'd be great.
Cool. Yeah.
A lot of alcohol though that day.
Hey man, Jerry turned us on to Warrior, and that was fucking fantastic. Speaking of Lee's, sorry, because that was supposed to be Bruce Lee originally. Did you watch it?
I have not gotten to that yet. I know it's now on HBO Max, which I have.
Yeah.
So once I wrap up the Titans, I think that's my next show.
Woo! Yeah, we're watching that right now. But yeah, Warrior is fucking badass, dude.
And Jerry's friends with a couple of castmates. Like they were at the booth with them having a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
One of my friends asked him for the picture and like, do you want to like do pose? He's like, let's pretend you kicked me. I'm like, they've been drinking a lot all day, man. I gotta. I guess we're gonna find out how close they can hold that kick.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah,
the answer is they can hold it pretty close, and my friend looked a little concerned.
I wouldn't even care. Just kick me in the face for the picture. I'm good with it. Yeah.
That's a story in and of itself. Like, that's great.
Yeah. I got kicked in the face by that guy. Yeah.
Father cool. June beat the shit out of me.
Yeah. So, can you, without like spoiling anything for the plot of your new material, with this graphic novel, can you tell us anything about the plot, or not really, keeping it kind of?
It's really a couple of short stories. A couple new drawings. The big thing for me was collecting this all together again, because it's the original 6 issues, and then with the next round, SLG and I agreed to just jump straight to a second graphic novel. So this is going to have 200 something pages in it, and it's been out of print for a little while. So I really wanted to have it like at least in my hands again, especially once conventions are safe again.
Yeah.
But like a lot of people, especially with like people I'd met down here, like, oh, is there a place I can get this? I'm like, it's out of print right now. I'll get to it eventually doing a Kickstarter. And with this year being 20 years since it got released, fuck it. Well, I got to do it now.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I'm excited about it. Just reading about it in research. Like I said, Chad and I were getting giddy about it. Like just talking about it. We're like, dude, we got to fucking read this. This is crazy. I think it's cool. Yeah. So
I'm super excited.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, getting to rescan every single page again. And, there was a lot of jokes, a lot of drawings that I had forgotten. And I'm like, I get a little chuckle or a little giggle here and there. I'm like, oh, I remember doing this. I remember when people conventions like, I love that line.
Yeah. Does it ever kind of like, as you're like going back through and like rescanning these, does it like spark ideas for new jokes, or is it just more of like nostalgia, like, yeah, it was pretty funny back then? Or are you like, hey, I know where I can take this. I can create like reoccurring jokes off of this that might be fanfare or anything like that?
Yes. I was talking with Jerry and, wondering how to reset myself to maybe do the next Jennifer, whatever that may be. And it was his suggestion, like, do it simple, man. Like, it's a funny book. Do a 1-page joke, however you want to break it down. So I came up and I had sketched. It's not going to be in this one, but ideally this will jumpstart whatever is next. So I have, I think, 3 or 4 6-panel 1-page joke things. One of them has Aquaman in it because he's awesome.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So you a fan of Momoa as Aquaman then, or?
I mean, he's clearly not playing Aquaman, but man,
he's just playing Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
It's called Drogo that can swim.
Like, he was on Baywatch. That was one of his first jobs.
I forgot about that.
Like, I'm happy that the only thing he said that was kind of embarrassing was like, I could have peed on it. Like, but when the director James Wan was doing initial promos for it, he's like, he listed like 8 movies that he loved over his whole life. He's like, my job is to figure out how to cram them all into this. Yeah. And it was so much fun. And my buddy David, watching it with me, he laughed at me at the end of the movie. He's like, you audibly gasped twice during this movie.
What were the 2 moments? Okay, I was just going to ask, where did you gasp?
The first was when Black Manta, his initial helmet blows up. I'm like, it wasn't big enough. He's like, I need to make it bigger. I was like, oh. And then when Orm is getting his crown as the King of Atlantis, and Dolph Lundgren swims up and he's like, you're the King of Atlantis. And Patrick, whatever his name is, that perfectly slimy look.
Patrick Wilson.
Yes. He does the dramatic villain turn in comics real uniform. he's like, don't call me that. Call me, as he puts on the helmet,
Yeah.
he's like, call me Ocean Master. And I was like, I loved it. I love they got him in the orange and green pretty early on. I love that they didn't let you stop long enough to think about some of the things. I love that it was all. I love Black Manta. Willem Dafoe was a little weird.
I think the octopus playing the drums was a little weird.
That's from the cartoon.
My gasping point for me, I saw that movie by myself in theaters, and I had a couple beers before I went in, and I was like, right away, kind of like, I don't know. And when he first like goes into the water, and you see what he sees when his eyes like, and you can see like how he sees the ocean, I was like, oh, this movie's cool. Yeah. Yeah. The movie was cool.
And I love the scene where he's grumpy Arthur in the bar with his Boba Fett dad, and the bikers come up behind, and like they look at tough. I'm like, they're just gonna want a picture, and he's like, can we get a picture? He's like, and each snapshot shows him getting drunker and drunker and having more
happier
and more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Until he's got to carry his sleeping dad out to the car.
We didn't plan for this question, but I do have to ask. I know that we have talked about this for days now, that you did some illustration for Wolverine. And one of the things that Chad and I have been talking about for months, if not longer, is who would make a good recast as Wolverine. Do you have an opinion on this?
I know it's jokey, but man, do I love seeing the fan Photoshop art of Danny DeVito as Wolverine. Like, that's a real campaign people are trying to wage.
I saw it on Instagram. That's actually pretty funny.
Because he's the right height, you know? Like,
yeah.
My favorite Wolverine in the comics, drawn-wise, is Kent Williams, where he looks like a slightly shaved gorilla. Like, he's always hunched over. He's got that weird slicked spikes of his hair. His arms are too long and too bulky.
Just ridiculous, yeah.
Yeah. I like Hugh Jackman fine. He's too pretty. He's tall.
Also like 6'2". Yeah. 6'1".
Yeah.
6'1". We looked it up.
That's how tall he is?
6'1", yeah.
That's like a foot too tall.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
So what would you think about John Bernthal?
Still too tall, obviously. But
Chad likes, what's his name?
Taron Egerton.
He's from the
Kingsman.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I've learned never to rule out a casting out of hand. And with the height, I mean, Lord of the Rings figured out how to make all people the same height look dramatically different.
True.
Yeah.
Like the hobbits are really not 4.5 feet tall.
Yeah.
Like you can figure that out. John Barrington, like I loved him as a Punisher only because the Punisher really can't carry his own thing.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him star in anything. I love him as the side character.
He just yells a lot, and I just feel like he would be a good Wolverine because he's just like
For the grunts and the animalistic cries.
For your guy, the Kingsman, I haven't seen him in anything other than the Kingsman, I think, where he's very proper and British. So maybe.
Yeah. I mean, he's in that. He also plays like. He hasn't done a role like that though. I mean, the closest.
He did Rocket Man.
Well, yeah, that's Sir Elton John. That's the farthest you can get from Wolverine. Just saying.
Well, I mean, have you seen the casting tape for Hugh Jackman? It was all his Broadway stuff.
Oh yeah.
And like looking at that, I'm like, whoever saw him as Wolverine, like, give that man a raise.
Yeah.
Agreed. So I guess to go back to it, do you have anybody in mind other than Danny DeVito? Because that's hilarious, but like realistically, Marvel is never gonna do that. So do you have like a realistic, like anybody you could think of that would play Wolverine in your head, whether you think that any of us would agree with it or not?
I mean, with casting like this or James Bond or whatever, I'm always drawn to the older version. So like an older Wolverine, I think a Daniel Craig would be cool. I'm basically looking for someone who squints and can growl.
I like it. Daniel Craig? I can see that. I saw something online a while ago that it was Anthony Starr with brown hair for a younger Wolverine. That
Who is
is
that?
Homelander from The Boys
Oh, okay.
with brown hair. Like, maybe. He would be a
Maybe.
tall version
Yeah,
again.
he would be.
You know,
He's like Hugh Jackman height.
yeah.
But again, like if Marvel has some balls, maybe hanging off a microphone stand, you could lend yours. They can CGI him to be 5 feet tall,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which would make the fights with him and Cyclops hysterical.
Hysterical, yeah.
Like Cyclops could be a dick and just not look down, and Wolverine's like, "I'm trying to talk to you." He's like, "One eye, I can't see down."
No depth perception here. Just forward. Do you see these goggles I'm wearing? I don't even have peripherals, dude.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's like, what is this cat I keep stepping on? It keeps yelling at me.
And why does it know English and a lot of swear words?
Yeah.
Scratches like a motherfucker, though.
Yeah, you have a tiny Wolverine trying to scramble up the refrigerator to get to the booze. Cyclops keeps putting it too high.
Although, because I think Wolverine technically is only supposed to be like 4'10", or he's very short.
I thought he was
right?
like 5'2".
He's
No.
5'2" because he's
5'2".
5'2" because Puck is just under 5 feet.
So
And-
he's Kevin Hart. Cast Kevin Hart. Let's be diversive. Kevin Hart's 5'2". Let's get a black Wolverine. I think that's perfect. Perfect
Yeah.
casting. We figured it out. Good job, guys.
Make the Rock Cyclops, and that back and forth is just game over. Jumanji
gonna be
3,
like-
the
He's
X-Men.
gonna be like Colossus or something. He's too big. He's way too big.
Oh, could you imagine those fastball specials? He's like, "No, we don't need CGI. I just pick them up and throw them."
Yeah, exactly.
So like, that wasn't called for in the script, but that's fine. Whatever. Somebody catch him.
Oh man. Yeah. Fuck. Bring it back in, Chad. Bring it back in.
Fucking A. All right, Ken. So, we're going to start kind of wrapping this up. Do you have any, final words about, the Kickstarter? Where can people find you online? Anything that is sticking out to you in the realm of nerd that you think people should be paying more attention to? Anything like that you want to shout out?
Yeah, man. First off, I'm on social media with my name. I try to make it simple as possible, even as badly spelled as it is. So everything social media it's for me. It's KenKnudtsen, and hopefully autofill will help you find me before you stumble through the DTS of my last name. The Kickstarter. I'll have the link up on my profiles the week before, so you can click onto the coming soon page, and it'll give you updates when it's coming. Thank you, Jerry and Alan, for letting me know that's a feature.
We will also link to it in our show notes
Yeah.
during the
We'll put
entire
our
run.
stuff on our stuff too. Yeah.
During the
Thank you.
entire run of the Kickstarter as well.
Thank you. And I love comics. Right now, I'm really into that image, specifically recommender mode, where it's 6 issues. You give them 3 months off, and they come back and they're fresh, and it's the same creative team. Like, I got the last graphic novel for Load not too long ago, and I have a pile of all of that, the whole run, waiting for me to dive into and catch up, like just relive it all at once. And I'm super psyched for that. But I mean, Kickstarter is the way you find new stuff. Jerry's on there. Our friend that runs a Wave Blue World has had a bunch of successful stuff. You can just like scroll through it, and there's gonna be something to catch your eye. So I mean, I love Kickstarter. I'm not just saying that because I'll be on it, but yeah, kind of. But yeah, I mean, it's like putting on a Spotify radio channel. Like I like the CRJ because I do love the CRJ. Let's see what else pops up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm digging the Titans because Aquaman from Smallville is Hawk in this.
Yeah.
Oh, dude! Did you Smallville? Dude, I fucking love Smallville. I got my girlfriend watching it right now. I've been telling this dude about it. Other than the fucking weird sex checker chick, Allison Mack, that show is badass.
We can admit
Yeah,
that she's the
I
worst.
loved that show. I almost brought it up earlier. I don't remember what you said. You said something, and it got in here, and I was like, oh, they're not going to know what that is. But you do, and it makes me happy. So
I loved when the Flash first shows up there, and it's the kid. I'm like, there's no way they're going to let Impulse be the first Flash.
Bart
And Clark
Allen,
shows in his, Clark shows up in his apartment, and is like, because the kid's a grifter. And he like all these fake IDs, and he's just throwing out all of the Flash names. Yeah. And I'm like, perfect.
Yeah. There's so many like hints and clues to like crazy shit, and that show is good. I'm glad I got 10 seasons. I started watching that when it first came out when I was middle school. I must have been in middle school at that time, and fuck, dude. It ended like after I graduated high school, and I was still watching it. Yeah, that show was
Michael
awesome.
Rosenberg is perhaps one of the greatest Lex Luthors ever of any media.
Rosenbaum, right?
Rosenbaum, sorry, yeah.
Rosenbaum, yeah. Yes, he was fantastic. I love him. Yeah, he was so good, and I love that he came back for the final season,
that was the best part of a shitty finale.
Yeah.
Darkseid is a bunch of weird crows. Okay.
Darkseid sucked, but sorry, Chad.
That's fine.
Darkseid sucked.
It's
Donald
been out
Glover,
for years.
Is it Donald Glover as Darkseid also sucked? Like, why'd they do that? But fucking Clark suiting up for the first time was super cool. Yeah, it was a good show. Chad, watch it. Just go watch it.
I will eventually.
You can really, after you watch the pilot, you can skip ahead to season 2 or season 3, because most of the first 2 seasons are like, oh, because there's a bunch of kryptonite that lands on Smallville. So
I feel like season 2 had a lot of like nostalgic with
Christopher Reeve, I think, comes in at one point.
And
or is that season 3?
And Terrence Stamp doing the voice of Jor-El in season 2 also.
Shit, that's right.
And he played Terrence Stamp played Jor-El in the 70s movies.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, Terrence Stamp was Zod.
Zod, that's what I meant. Sorry. Yeah. Jesus. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So skip ahead to season 2 after the premiere. The premiere is really good. But then it's because like, oh, this person becomes a werewolf because there's kryptonite by them. I'm like, that's dumb.
Yeah, it was the meteorites fucking give people powers, and it gets a little weird for a little while. But I feel like season 2 had a lot of nods to some stuff. But yeah, season 3 is where it really like, and then season 4 when they bring in Lois Lane.
Yeah. Erica Durant was great.
Yeah.
Lois Lane.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll
Chad.
watch it. Okay.
Now he is gonna watch it because I've been telling him to watch it and he won't watch it. Now that you told him to watch it, he's gonna watch it.
He's not wrong.
Yeah. It's good.
All right.
And I guess just like that, Jake is now saying like Ken is a much better guest than Jerry Ma.
I mean,
I don't want to.
I wasn't the one that said it.
Either or, people. I can't say
No.
it. You guys were both fucking amazing.
It's been a delight having you guys here.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, you froze.
Oh, am I unfrozen for you?
No, you're good. You're good
Okay.
now. Yeah, you're frozen. Okay.
All right. So we do just have a couple of quick like housekeeping things that we have to throw out before we close out. Basically, I mean, first off, thank you again, Ken, for being here.
Thank you.
We will link to your socials and everything in the show notes. We'll keep that Kickstarter in there throughout the entire run, so people can check it out. Honestly, guys, go check it out. Like, this looks so fun. I cannot wait to actually read the final product with the new stuff, get my hands on some reissues of the originals. But on top of that, I mean, check us out on social media. You can find us on, Facebook, Instagram. We technically have a TikTok. We don't do anything on it because clearly we're not funny. Funny enough for TikTok. But with that being said, I mean, link is in the bio in the show notes. Check out our web store, our Patreon, which has some behind the scenes stuff on there. And yeah, so let's go ahead and close it out. So Ken, you want to go ahead and close us out?
Yes. All right, everyone, get your drinks. This has been the All Things Nerd podcast. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.